Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Jimmy Butler has made it official as Shams and Brian Windhorst of ESPN reported that Butler has indicated to the Heat he wants the team to trade him and that he is open to playing anywhere other than Miami. Shams did say that Butler prefers the Suns, Warriors, Rockets, and Mavericks as desired destinations. So that's it, guys. Seems like it's only a matter of time until Jimmy Butler is officially out of Miami and gets to help his new team compete. In this one, I'm going to tell you where I see Jimmy Butler ultimately going and getting traded to. Do me a solid, guys. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. So I'm going to go from least likely to most likely when it comes to Jimmy Butler trade destinations. Let's first start with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm ranking them number 4 on this list. So you look at the Mavericks, they did a great job of reconstructing their roster this offseason by adding Klay Thompson, picking up Quentin Grimes, and signing Najee Marshall. And Thompson's been kind of inconsistent, but Grimes and Marshall have been very valuable. And the Mavericks, they look very good. Obviously, when Luka comes back healthy, they look capable of once again making it out of the West. However, they could look to target a guy in Butler to get him over the top and dethrone a team like the Celtics, who they lost to in the 2024 NBA Finals. And Jimmy Butler would help immensely with that. However, with that said, getting Butler, it would require the Mavs to put forth a big package and practically all the depth that they've spent accumulating over the last several years, because you would have to look at a deal that would send Klay Thompson, a PJ Washington, even Gafford and Maxi Kleber for Butler, and probably you're looking at a couple of throw-ins to make the money work. So for as good as Butler is, and it would give the Mavericks a top-heavy roster, they would have zero depth, and that's only going to get you so far. So for as much as that's a fun idea with Jimmy being paired with Kyrie and Luka, I don't see Dallas acting on this. Next on this list, at number 3, the Houston Rockets. The Rockets, they are perhaps the most intriguing team on this list. Not many expected them to be third place in the Western Conference, and they have kind of taken a slow approach with their rebuild, and they've seen the emergence of a young star player in Alfred Sengun. And Ime Udoka, he's been doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he should be the early front runner to win Coach of the Year. So Houston, they've done it right, but they could be looking to make a big splash for a star to take that next step. And remember, they were rumored to want to trade for Kevin Durant. That never happened. And when you look at this Rockets team, they have the assets to do it. The Rockets can pull off a trade for Butler without giving up too many key rotation pieces because they're loaded with so much young talent. And if they decide that they want to keep, Green, Sengun, Thompson, Eason, perhaps they could part ways with a young trade chip in Jabari Smith Jr. And the Rockets could fill out the rest of that trade package with veterans like Steven Adams, Jeff Green, and even add in a Dylan Brooks as well. Cam Whitmore could even be sprinkled in, as that's somebody who could be very enticing for the Miami Heat. The Rockets, they have multiple first-round picks in 2025 and 2027, which can definitely sweeten the pot. So I think the Rockets could put forth one of the better offers, but it'll come down to if the Rockets want to rush trying to compete for a championship or continue to take the slow approach that have gotten them to this spot. Next, we got the Phoenix Suns. So I think the Suns are the team most desperate for Jimmy Butler. They need somebody to shake up the culture because right now the Suns look dead, and Jimmy is what this team needs. They lack a leader. They lack a guy to get hard on players to get it done, and this is the Suns' last chance, I think, to try to salvage this, to this point, failed Big Three era with Kevin Durant. You went this far, you might as well continue to try to make it work with this Big Three. And Bradley Beal, I mean, he has not been a good fit. As constructed, this Suns team, they're not going to win a championship, not even close. And that's the thing, though. For a deal for Butler to get done, the Suns are very, very limited. They basically have to have some variation of a Bradley Beal trade, and you would need Beal to waive his no trade clause. So I do have the Suns number 2 on this list just because I think they will act more desperately than any other team on this list, but their path to an appealing deal seems the most difficult. So I think for this to happen, another team would definitely have to get involved. And that leaves me to the likeliest destination for Jimmy Butler, and this is where I see Jimmy Butler being traded to. The Golden State Warriors. This is the Warriors' last shot at keeping themselves in the title picture. And you look at Stephen Curry, he is playing still at a high level. And did you see what he just did against the 76ers? The Warriors can't waste that. And they can't keep operating with this 2-timeline thing. It's not working. It's either they go all in on their youth or they go all in on trying to maximize the last of Curry's prime. And considering what Curry's meant to this organization, they owe it to Curry to continue to invest in him and try to win more titles before his career is over. So they gotta go all in on trying to win titles. With Curry playing how he is, you still got Draymond Green, who's got a great knack for winning. And the Warriors, they've already made a trade for Dennis Schroeder, but they're gonna need more. Like, you see this team as constructed, they're not getting close to winning a championship. And Butler, I think he would fit in perfectly. He fits the defensive, selfless culture that Steve Kerr has cultivated here. I know he's 35, but he's still playing great basketball. And really, like, Butler, he's going to turn down his player option next season. And he wants one more big contract. And I can see the Warriors giving him that, because I can see a world where they have the trio of Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green locked up through at least 2027. And that's when Curry and Green, as of now, will become free agents. So you lock up Butler, that's going to be a couple more shots at a title. And you look at the Warriors, they're certainly going to have to give up Jonathan Kuminga. And he's somebody who I think that he would be very intrigued by, a player who can turn into a star. Andrew Wiggins, and even potentially Pods, who has fallen off a cliff, or Moses Moody, to make salary match. And they would have to at least include a future first-round draft pick, if not two. Kuminga, I think, is the big one here, because I think Warriors fans are still very high on him. But, I mean, that's the price you gotta pay. Like, Golden State, they gotta go for this. They gotta try to maximize the rest of Curry's career. And as they're operating right now, they're not gonna be in contention. And really, like, it's sad to see them wasting the last of Curry's brilliance. So it's going to take the Warriors having to make a big decision of, like, okay, can we fork over these young assets and get Butler, who will give the Warriors a shot at once again, going for that title. So the Warriors, they don't want to waste the last chapter of Curry, which they shouldn't, because again, like I said, they owe it to him. And, as much as Kuminga can become a star player, you got to ask yourself too, like, can Kuminga, Pods, and even Moody, like, end up being one of the 2 best players, even 3 best players on a championship team? It's highly unlikely. I think Kuminga would be a nice fit with Miami, because you got Bam and Hero, who look like they can be, stars for that team, and Kuminga could fit in like that. But with Golden State, you're asking for those guys to be your next big 2, big 3. It doesn't look like it's going to trend that way. So the Warriors, they're better off selling them now, and at least you can get a star who's going to help you win now. And I think with Stephen Curry on your roster still performing the way that he is, that's the right move. So that is my prediction. I think we will see Jimmy Butler go to the Warriors. But, I mean, he can go to any one of these teams on the list, or we know in the crazy world of the NBA, maybe a team that hasn't even been reported can emerge and swap in and trade for Jimmy. And then the other part of it too is Miami, they don't have to trade Jimmy Butler. I know he's going to be disgruntled and he hasn't been playing his best. He's kind of been, floating a bit with his effort level, but technically, I mean, Miami can just keep him until the offseason. I'm fascinated to see where this thing goes, but this is just my prediction, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you all again in the next one.